Okay.
very different than what it was for that 51-year-old.
Of
And so
course.
if you're going to do some kind of comparison, you got to make sure, like they do in research and development, you make sure that you're comparing apples with apples and not apples to oranges and apples to grapes, because that's the comparison that you all are just making. I have
Okay,
nothing
but
wrong with
wait,
what Terry McMillan writes
okay,
about.
I
okay,
haven't either.
I
That
love
wasn't a
what he talks
wait a
comparison,
minute,
though.
about.
It
wait,
was a
but here,
cultural. It's a cultural diagram, because when you think of Clint Eastwood at 71, we knew him. Okay, so remember, we're talking. It's no different than us. We're talking about this at our age.
It's
So
very
I
different
don't know.
at 93. And again, it's very different. Like I just said, it's
Oh, we're
very
not saying
different.
it's
And I
not.
don't
We're
know,
not.
and I don't know who has grandchildren. I heard Karen, you say you had great grands,
I got
but I don't
I
know
6
have
grand.
great
grand.
grand. I have
Right,
grand.
right. And I know, oh yeah, I know Wanda's whole family. Right. And again, it's very different than even, I knew Wanda's kids when they were kids. And it's very different than what their kids are now, because now Wanda's kids are grandparents. And
That's right.
so again, based on how they're based on how they were raised and based on their various cultures, because again, Wanda and I have known each other since college. And we came from, yes, we're part of the Black community, but we had very different lives. We grew up very different. Even with Margot on there, we grew up very different. And again, that also plays a role into our children, our expectations, and when it comes down even to our grandchildren. I do know about the crime. My other thing I was going to ask about, I think some of you
I'm
all
coming
should
to you.
talk
Yes.
about when it comes to carjacking and those high level felony crimes, why the young people, why they're so young. And the fact, again, if you had a police officer on here, they would let you know that they don't go, these kids, they choose these kids to do these felonies because many a time under the Juvenile Act, some of them can't get anything. There's very little you can do to them, especially the 11 and the 12-year-olds. But again, if you follow the yellow brick road, you'll see again that it's someone very, very mature behind this and telling these kids what to do.
Okay, hold on. Let them
You know,
respond.
I grew up on the West Side, and this has been going on all of my life. It's not new, but it's new in the suburban areas. So because it's new in the suburban areas, the perspective is different. And so it's not, we use Clint Eastwood because we're looking at the fact that we're still alive to even make a contribution to think about these issues. It's not using him as a, tit for tat. It's tit for tat is over. That's division. We don't have to divide ourselves. We know this man. We watched his work. I'm not holding him up. I'm not holding him down. History is a fact, period. So historically, where have we come from? In order, no matter what, we've evolved. This is an evolution. And it was all right. I think earlier, Sandra, when you were talking about what was going on, the West Side was colonized. It was colonized since 1919. And when you colonize a place, whatever happens, no one cares. But those children are there. A man in Oak Park wrote a book. His name is Jonathan Kozol, called There's No Children Here. Those children that he followed, and he wrote that book that sent so many people in to help fix the West Side. Those children were in my class. It's easy to make money off of somebody else's pain.
Come on.
Now we have to fix it. We have to fix it together. We can't sit
Yes.
here and say, you did it, he did it, I'm shame. Shame and blame is the worst thing we can use because
That's
we'll
right.
never come out of the closet.
Okay.
okay,
Yessie, wait,
I,
Brian. Brian, let Yessie respond as he's been waiting for a while. Yessie, go on. Make your comment.
See, again, we always choose an incorrect premise to start off with. Now we into movies and all that, and I broke it down real. I thought it was very simple. My grandmother had 11 children, okay, and all of them got married early, 14, 15, 16, 17, and they had children, okay? Now, the problem is that the children, it's not an evolution, it's a revolution took place. Okay. And we never go back to find out what happened. There is books. We talking about this book and that book, and I keep bringing it up. Who read The Miseducation of Negroes? Who read the history of education in America? We will find those problems solved. They did not teach us what religious, what is it called, a theology. What is it? Why you need it? How does it work? No one taught us government. What is it? Why you need it? How it works? Nobody taught us business. What is it? How? Why you need it? How it works? It's on for healthcare, homes, and school. The children is seeing.
Who is it?
I'm sorry. You cut me. Can I continue?
Yes, please go on.
Right. The problem is that we have to look at who was taught this here. See? And after the Civil War, we start progressing. See, we start progressing, learn to read, all kind of stuff, start building and all kind of things. See, it's not where you started from, it's where you go. But if you don't know how you started, how you going to know where you're at and where you could go? And today we got more blacks go to college that can't read, go to college, can't come out and find a job, go to college because they're not in the right field. We go into humanity. The first thing blacks done when we took over the schools, becoming superintendents and principals and stuff, we start teaching black history. Black history don't grow no food. Black history don't heal bodies, biology. Black history don't teach chemistry. And this is our problem. And today, now we hear and don't know what to do with the children. The parents act just like the children. They argue, pointing fingers back and forth, mad at everybody. Who know the solution? And let me just give y'all a future look at this here. Okay, I don't care who become the next president. They're going to put cameras all over America. Because when you walk out of your house, you're in public. And in public, ain't no privacy. You have privacy in your home. But they're going to have to stop this. And let me tell you, our people are in danger. Not because of what somebody else is doing to us. It's by what we're doing. And for us to sit up and talk about this movie and that movie, and who wrote this book and that book, there's only been very few books out here that told adequately on how we got here, what happened to bring us here. And we don't read those books.
Okay, Yessie, let's let somebody respond to you.
Please
Welcome
do.
to the show, Regina. How are you? I can't hear you. Check your audio.
Okay, do you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, hi everybody, and I thank God my girlfriend Linda Barker, Sisters of the Hood, she told me that I should be listening to this. And is that Dr. Tex Doctor? Is that
Yes,
the one
it
that
is.
just got through speaking?
Yes.
Okay, 100% agree with you. I work with the youth and I've been working with them for 20 years. I have seen children behavior change. The way that I was raised, and all of us was raised as over 60, is that we was raised, especially the women, we knew who we were. What had happened, they took the Pledge of Allegiance out of the school. They took Black history out of the schools. What's happening today, from my generation, things were so freely passed to me. And I passed it to my child. But my child did not pass it to his. What are you seeing out here now? I have a youth development program that works. Our kids, not just the kids, because see, if you want to get to the solution, you got to have the whole family, not just that baby.
Yes.
Because dealing with all situations, the moms might be substance abuse, grandma might be raising them, or they might have been taken away from the families and in foster homes and this. These are the kids that you seeing out here that is committing a crime. They got the guns in their hands, that is homeless. And the little gym shoe boys snatch them up, the whole 9 yards on both entities. When you want to get to the solution of the problem, you got to be willing and not scared of our people.
That's right.
And where I'm at today, I'm just not talking about it. I be about it. When I stop on the corner, they say, "Oh, here go Miss Lewis, pull your pants up." Offering them another way. We started the Congressman Danny Davis started the Hope Coalition 3 years ago. This year was my first of being the president, uniting all coalitions and organizations together that is doing something for people in general, coming together because you cannot do it by yourself. Coming up with ideas. So we came up with this idea and everything. I thank God for the grant that I received, that our kids, some of our kids, we got good basketball players, but their moms is not able to pay for those teams, for them to be on the team. So I came up with basketball, boxing, all these are organizations that is a collaboration of whole, the Rag Brothers, they do the boxing, and also George, you got You Can. Since our kids is so much in social media, these kids know how to hook up a Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all that better than us. So yeah, so changing their mindset. We no longer got to be scared of them, because what we got to do is prevention before incarceration. Not only that, we as elders got to stand with a firm hand. Ain't no cursing in front of me. Are you going to school? I'm currently in alternative school. These kids been thrown away, cannot go to public school, none of that. We talking about the school smell like a big blunt, all this good stuff. But we collectively need to make a difference and start going into the schools, start going on the corners. Half of them kids don't want to be on the corner. They force, giving them another way. What organizations that is doing something to help our kids? Or not just the kids, but the family. Just like for me, 31 years, I have licensed recovery home. I help people get their lives together. In order for me to help the kid get help, I got to help the mother and the dad first.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Okay, so what else? Do somebody else get a chance to talk?
Sure.
Yeah, I just introduce myself on the things that I do. I apologize for keeping up so much of your time, but I know this is the first time a lot of you guys are meeting me.
Yes.
So
thank
just
you.
want to
We
get my
appreciate it,
services
Regina.
out.
Thank you.
That's on
Thank
the
you.
line, Virginia. I got
You have
something to
comment?
comment on what you just said.
Okay, go on.
Well, first of all, we need to stop calling children kids. A kid is a goat. You
I
rear
agree.
children. You rear children. You don't raise them. You raise animals. You rear children. To teach children, I don't have nothing against boxing, baseball, basketball, and all that. That's called a toy. That's what black folks have become, a toy and a tool. You hire them to do some work and you fire them if they don't do it. Okay?
Now,
It's
could I
much
correct
deeper.
you?
Wait,
Could I correct you with
let her
that?
respond to you, Yessie.
Because that was for our children, not for our young adults. Not everybody is school material nor college material. So therefore, I done hooked up with Renovation Workshop, Bill right there on Harrison,
See,
and
you cut
everything. They
me off.
teaching them a trade.
Yeah, no, no, look, I know what
Now
trade
that
is. See,
that's
look,
how I growed up. I growed up with a trade.
yeah,
Okay.
ma'am, I got you. And not really. I appreciate what you're doing. Okay. I'm 75 years old, okay? And I came through the movement, participated in the movement, okay, and studied the movement, okay? And I done thought millions. That's our problem. We go to government to get grants all the time, and we don't know how to support ourselves. Okay? The problem is that we need to deal with what went wrong. What went wrong is our educational system broke down. Okay? They became a miseducation instead of education. Prior to the 1952 or 54 Kansas Kansas versus Topeka, Black folks were striving. Our schools was in full contact. We was building, we was working, families were together. It was until the 60s came in when they started sending all us blacks to college. And they took us out. Most colleges, black colleges, was trade schools. They was not liberal arts schools. They came out of the schools angry. Coming out of the civil rights movement, they came out angry and started teaching we need to learn Black history. And no, very few of them went and read what happened from 1919, as you all want to say, until today. We need to go back and study who read Booker T. Washington, Frederick Douglass, uh, 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 Carter G. Woodson. We celebrate his month. I mean, every year we celebrate Black History Month, and nobody that read Carter G. Woodson couldn't even tell you who he was and what was he talking about. We never read books on the American education system or the breaking up of the Black family. Since the 60s, they flooded drugs into us, and none until today. Name a politician that's in office today that's Black and Democrat that have promoted or legislated in a law for the health interest rights and needs of Black children. It's
Okay, hold
not
it.
Black
Let
people.
him respond. Let him respond.
Yeah,
We got a hand up.
please do.
We got a hand up from Brian, and then we go to you, Karen.
Okay, I agree with him in reference to the educational system because and I think the other lady it said something about how a lot of kids, some kids anyway, are thrown into alternative schools. And like I said before, alternative schools, that's a form of warehousing and really a pipeline to prison. You know, because they have really have those kids have really been failed by quote unquote mainstream school. And
Well,
anytime you
Black
have,
in those schools. Black
excuse me,
ran those schools. White people didn't run those schools. Black people ran those schools.
okay, well I'm glad to hear. Okay, I'm glad somebody recognizes it. I'm glad somebody recognizes it. So, but those are not throwaway kids. Those are
I
kids who
agree.
have those are kids who have potential, and they don't need to be warehoused in the educational system with remedial work and not getting the academic challenges that they should get. Because, and as far as I'm concerned, in alternative schools or special ed schools, you turn somebody, you really by warehousing them like that, you can turn them into a learning disabled. And then they have the audacity to say you need to go and get a trade. Okay, well, this kid has college potential, but it has not been challenged or tapped into. So I mean,
Right.
so what's up with that?
Let's let Karen respond to your inquiry. Karen, go on.
Well, everything that's being said is true. And the thing is we really have to stop. We have to be gentle with one another because we dare to speak it. We dare to tell the truth. And so Carter G. Woodson, what did he, the Carter G. Woodson,
Miseducation of Negroes.
the miseducation of Negroes. He said that the Negro would love the Greek, the Tunisian, and the Jew, but not love Africa. So when we think in terms of the black on black crime, that means we're looking at people who have assimilated into a lifestyle and a worldview that is not that doesn't love Africa. Therefore, it's hard to love yourself. You love yourself because you know your history, sir. As you know who you are. You know, and so we, like you said, we're looking at the eroding, but you can't. The whole idea is that we cannot save our children unless we save everybody. We cannot. We can't break up America. To me, it's American on American crime now. It's not black on black crime anymore. It's not just save our children, because we know that our children are a multiplicity of people. They, you know, if you go in a classroom and you ask a group of children how many cultures that are in their blood, they will let you know what America looks like. They're not going to say, "Oh, I'm just black." No, no way, because we have miscegenated, we integrated, miscegenated. Everyone didn't assimilate. And the people who didn't assimilate is the children. The children are different from us. So therefore, they don't like us. You know, and that's our biggest challenge is, you know, the self-hate piece, you know, as opposed to us
Carolyn,
beating
you're
each other.
absolutely, Carolyn, let me just say, you're absolutely right. But the problem is, let me show you. The problem is we had our former president say America first, and Black said he was a racist. When are we going to stand up and say we are American? And we are denied the American right. And the reason why we're denied the American rights because we don't know the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution.
Absolutely.
Well, you don't have to know that because
Yes, you do.
they looked at us as 3/5 of a man. That's just
Yeah.
a mess. That is not true. Okay, yes, it was said, but it's not true. The history says that the South wanted slaves, and they want to count their slaves as a vote. And the North said, no, you don't look at them as a vote. You look at them as an animal. So they negotiated and said 3/5 because they had to bring the Union together. So they said that 3/5 for every 3 blacks, we will give you a vote. That's to
That's what
bring the Union together. Then,
but but that's what makes
go
it,
ahead. I'm
wait a minute.
sorry, Karen. I just want.
That's what makes it a rich, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what makes it a rich man's problem. This is not our problem. Our problem is learning to get along with each other, learning to identify each other as human beings. There are two economies. There's the economy of man, which is land, goods, and services, what you own. Then there's the economy of God, which is humanity, man himself. And so we have to make those separations because, you know, if we can just get the church to take their knee off public education and teach democracy, teach the things like you say, the Constitution, because we learned those things. It was
Oh, no.
illegal. It was illegal for slaves to read because if you can read, there is an equality based in that. It was
I totally
illegal for
agree.
slaves to marry because if a slave, if a free black man married an enslaved woman, then that means there was going to be a legal fight over who owned that baby.
Mm-hmm.
And so
That
we're
was
still
then, though,
fighting for that
Carolyn,
baby.
Carolyn, in the 50, 78 to 80 some percent of black people was married. This is in the 50s and the 40s. Okay? So that we had eradicated those problems. We had eradicated
No,
a
we
lot
did.
of
No,
problems that we
we
went
didn't,
through.
sir. If we
Oh,
not
we
in the
did?
urban, sir, not in the urban centers. If you had colon, because the West Side had been colonized, it had been abandoned. You can come, people come to the West to this day. That's what people do. You go to the West Side, call it the hood. What? It's not the hood. It's the West Side of Chicago. Children are there. People's children are there.
I was reared on the West Side, ma'am. I know all about it. Then I went
And
to
so how we
school
speak of
on
it,
the
it's
West
how
Side,
we,
grammar
and
school.
how, you know, everyone says that, but
Because
how
we
we
tore
speak
it up.
of this.
We tore the west side up. We tore everywhere we moved up. Okay, that's what
We tore
happened.
up the
Crime.
west side when they burned down the west side. That was as a result of the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr.
No,
And
no,
then
this,
the
no,
system
man.
would not
Exactly.
rebuild it.
Exactly.
Hold it,
The
hold
We,
it.
system
we,
would not
Yesy,
rebuild it.
hold on.
let her make a statement.
No, hold on. That is not correct. We had a riot in 1966 in Chicago, okay, that burned down Madison and Roosevelt and on the south side. That was the second riot after King was assassinated.
I lived in
Also, like
19
I
South Springfield. They didn't burn that down till after King was assassinated. I
The
lived in
thing,
19
look,
South Springfield and saw it for myself.
so we're
You
look,
doing
I
the
talking
know
about
all
the
blame
about.
game
riot from
now.
the Democratic Convention, and that was completely different. That was
Let
not the
me
West
tell
Side.
you, in 1966, they had a riot in Chicago. In
Again, but
65, they
that
had
was
a riot
not
in
the
Newark.
West
They
Side.
had a
But that was
riot in
not the
Los
West Side.
Angeles.
Karen
We
is
had
Okay,
riots
white.
before King died. What
Karen
okay,
is
y'all?
okay.
white.
Listen.
You know what?
So
Even we have to look at the time and not get. We're getting. If we look at the era, look at the era, and see how we are repeating.
somebody's talking. Somebody has sound going on.
How
Okay.
we're
Go ahead,
repeating
Carla.
what happened in Watts Stacks. Remember what happened in Watts,
Yeah,
California?
yes, I do.
Okay, but guess what? Malala Karenga created he didn't create it. What he did is he researched the Nguza Saba, which is Kwanzaa, the 7 principles. Those principles are universal principles for everyone. Because what he saw at Watt Stacks is after the riots, after the looting, because of course the cameras would not take pictures of the white people looting. They only took pictures of the black people. That's America.
Look,
Wait a minute, let me finish, sir.
yeah, go ahead,
He
Carolyn.
saw
I'm not going to
people,
stop you.
what he observed was people coming back to rebuild Watts. That's how he studied the Swahili. It's out of Ghana, I believe. Yeah, West Africa. He studied those 7 principles. So now, if we're talking about solutions, we can study solutions that are basically universal, umoja, Kuji Chagalia, self-determination, define yourself, name yourself, and not be named or defined by anyone else. Ujima. Ujima is collective working responsibility. That's
Got
what
it,
we're doing.
Carolyn.
No, see, we don't like details. And
No,
when we
no, I
erase
got
the
the details.
details,
Let me tell you, Leroy Jones was his name. I know Karinga. He was an FBI informant. Him and the Black Panther, us and the Black Panther Party got to fighting each other, killing each other. I know all about that, okay? I
but
was
I'm not
there,
talking about the
okay?
man. I
Not,
am
not
talking about the work.
Capona.
I'm not talking
Wait,
about. I don't know
Capona?
the man.
Wait,
See, this
wait, Yesy,
personal
she's
stuff.
not talking about the
I got
man.
you.
I'm talking about the work. See, one of
I,
the things that you know what
no, no,
every
let me
other
tell you
country
about the
can
It's
work.
8
depend on
o'clock.
African Americans. They can
Let me
depend on
respond to
us
your work.
arguing about personal
No,
stuff.
I'm not arguing. First of all, I'm
But
not
it's
arguing.
you know what? I didn't need to know anything about him being Leroy Jones or what he did wrong. I'm talking about what he did right and what
Let's
affected
talk
me
about what he
later
did
on in
right.
my life.
Let me explain to you what he done right. Called what is
Yesy.
the Kwanzaa? Okay, Kwanzaa is just a made up mess. Okay, that is Swahili and all that stuff. It have nothing to do with teaching our children agriculture. Are y'all there?
Yeah.
You are so wrong, though,
Oh, so
sir.
wrong. Okay,
Yes,
so wrong about what?
because what as Karen is saying, she's saying that these principles already existed and already exist in Africa. And Swahili was created so that all the African countries can have a common language. So when you say Swahili and stuff, that was a way of communication.
Listen, ma'am.
Okay.
But we
Oh,
listen because, and another thing, when you're talking about the West Side burning down, most of those stores were burned down by the people that owned them because they wanted the insurance. So
Uh,
everything that happens bad in the black community, the first thing people want to do is say it's the black people. When most of those stores were burned down by the proprietors so that they could get insurance money and get the hell out of Dodge. And so
Oh,
when you
I
talk
got you.
about and when you talk about a culture that was created not just the man, but he went to find the principles. Anybody could have done that. Anybody could have went over there
I got
and
you.
seen what principles were good. And
But
so, as Karen is saying, what's good for us is what we can utilize from
exactly.
anything. Even the Bible is not correct, but we can go in there and find
No matter
principles
what you
that we
did.
can
Yeah,
apply to our lives.
that's true. You're
all
absolutely right.
right.
But let
Well,
me just say this
could I
here.
just iterate with this?
Yes.
Because I got on this so that I can gain knowledge and try to find a solution, especially for my ones that's 18 and 24.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Sir, you're absolutely right. Always old values, old tradition. I
Thank
came from a family just like you were saying, Karen. I was with and in the civil rights. My dad, they sent my dad for 2.5 years. We went to Washington, D.C. He was the chief of the vice lords, conservative. So the way that I was raised is the way that I am now today. And I'm on this so that I can come up with a solution. What I've heard, all of this black history, our children do not know. My kids didn't even know who Rosa Parks was. So, tax doctor, you need to be a part of my committee and talking to my children.
well, get
That's
my
what we need
number
to
from
come. Right,
ma'am.
all
Get
of
my
y'all,
number from
right.
Wanda. Get my number from Wanda and
I need
call
to
me. I
get
know that today.
exactly because let me tell you something, and saying this to you, 15 years. I didn't worry about no grants, did not get no grants or none of that. I started my
Right.
organization with a $65 book of stamps and a
Yes.
dream of a vision.
I'm not
I
opposed to
say,
grants now.
okay, right. I am, and I'm also opposed of subsidized housing because I've
Hmm.
seen over the years so many. They be in them houses for 3 years and then they got to pay fair market rent. A lot of my babies come back and they homeless. I could tell y'all what's going on out here. But see,
Okay.
we got to come with
Yeah,
a
I hear you.
solution. And it's going to take you, Pops. It's going to take all of y'all with this knowledge to pass it to our children.
That's
That's
right.
what I want to hear while we here and talking tonight. Not keep talking about what happened in the past or what's going on, but
That's
how can
right.
we fix the problem?
If
That's
you
right.
Get my
don't know your
number.
past,
Get
you
get
will
my
not
All of
number
y'all
from
with
Wanda.
all of these wise, I mean, I've heard so much tonight that I am fulfilled of
Thank
knowing my history. Some
thank
history I didn't even know about. The
you.
7 days.
Yeah.
So if
Let me.
we come together collectively, just think if it pierced my heart, what it's gonna do with that child heart that got this color of their skin and
Yes.
know who they are, that they queens and kings.
Come on
Let's
now.
come
Yes,
up with a damn problem, with a
Regina.
solution.
Regina.
Regina, my number is in the chat.
I look, my
Everybody,
look,
Jesse, put your
y'all,
number in the
I ain't
chat.
gonna even tell y'all my age. I thank God I look good at my age.
Yeah, you you
Okay,
you
I
you
ain't
look
even.
like
I'm gonna make sure
Regina. You look
everything
like you
done.
about 60 years old.
Hey, I ain't gonna say, but hey, I'm on fire. I'm on fire for my people.
Yes.
It's gonna take all of us. And what I heard tonight, and especially you, Elder, to
Yes.
teach my kids, and I have enough.
Let me just say
I'm
this.
trying to put a
Let me
I'm
just
trying
say
to
this.
put a whole program together,
Let me just
and they need to know our history.
let me just say this here. Swahili
Got
is
it.
not a language. Swahili is a dialect.
Well, I
Thank
don't know
you.
nothing about all that, but hey, we gonna get up to all this in a minute. Wanda, you the host, right?
Yes.
Wanda, you doing a hell of a job.
Thank you so much.
And,
I
and
really appreciate
right,
it.
in the Hope Coalition, I'm gonna make sure that more be involved. There's a whole lot of coalitions and organizations that's in the 7th congressional district, we have came together as a holistic approach to help our community.
There you go. There you go.
Tell
From
everybody
that child to that senior.
There you go. There you go.
You know, so I'm
love
here, and what I love, what I just heard, and the people that's speaking, especially my elder over here, that's I don't know what he eat on, but he got a big bowl with little food in it. that
It's a salad.
that you gonna be able to talk to our kids and give them history.
Yes.
With all the way back.
All
Stuff
right.
Tell all your friends to listen in and
yeah, when I got recovery home, you come speak to them. Well, no, you can't do that because see, it's all walks of life.
Come on now.
I have all walks of life.
All walks of life. That's right.
Exactly.
I really enjoyed this discussion tonight.
Yes.
Everybody has given so much input. And you know what? You all have motivated each other. And I'm definitely motivated to figure out what we can do.
Yes.
Change and detour the behavior that we don't want to see.
Yes.
We want our children to be successful. We want our children to know who they are. We want our children to know who we are. And we want to change the economy in our communities. So let's work together to do that.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. The show is over, but we will do another. And when we do, let's continue the discussion on how we can save our children.
Let's make it soon because it's just not the children. It's the community at large.
That's right.
That means their moms, their dad, their grandma.
That's right.
And the services that we can put together. If they need food, we can provide these things.
Come on now. Come on.
All of that. If we gonna heal it, we're gonna heal it right. We can't do nothing.
Come on, sister. You are absolutely correct.
Wanda, I'm so glad that my girlfriend Linda Barker got me involved.
I'm so glad.
She called me. She said, I just walked to the door. She said, you gotta be on this. You gotta be on this.
What's your phone number, Mrs. Lewis?
I'm gonna give you my personal cell, 773.
No, don't give it out. Give it to Wanda to give to him.
See, he old school, real old school. Like you say, he back in the 50s.
I'll give it to you. Okay.
All right.
Love you all.
Love you. Thank you. I'll send it to everybody. Okay. Thank you.
All right now. Bye-bye.
Everybody have a good night. This week, because bigger things is going on.
Okay. Okay.
And I want to meet with you guys, really let y'all know. It's so many organizations that's behind and we do it, and we all got to put you guys and fit in.
All right.
I feel in my spirit that this is the root right here that's going to make a difference.
Thank you.
You know, I really do, Wanda.
Okay.
Hey, I got to have a sit-down meeting with you.
Okay.
As soon as your schedule is available.
Let's talk about that after the show, okay?
Okay, perfect. Okay. Hey, get me off this. Okay. Right.
God bless
my
everybody.
Cousin here to help me. Thank you. Bye-bye.